Hello there everyone, it's Kathy with Paper Phenomenon. We're here for part 2 of the weekly recap video. This is actually a 2-week recap video, so I'm answering questions from videos posted from June 9th, the week of June 9th, and the week of June 16th. So let's get right to it because there's quite a bit of questions. All right, so we're back on my YouTube channel and the questions are asked here in the community page. So you click on the community tab and Dr. E has, of course, been holding down the fort. And here are the weekly recap questions that were asked from June 3rd through June 8th. And I think they're all here, as a matter of fact, because there wasn't, they're all here. Dr. E didn't post one for the following weeks because that's when I was away. So here they're all here, and I'm gonna sort. They don't seem to be. Here we go. So this is the order that that Dr. E has them for me in this paper. So for the first question is from Terry. And she says, "Hi, Kathy. I absolutely love all of your designs. Beautiful work. Thank you. My question is, I really need to make a fishing album and I can't find fishing paper that I love. I didn't know if you or your designer could create a collection for fishing." Terry, that is such a great idea. I think that's great. I don't see why not. I would love to do that, especially now during this season. I will tell you, I have the perfect project though. If I create a fishing paper, I'm going to speak with the designers now. I'm working with 2 new designers now, Kim being one of those, Salty Beach Scrapper. And it's called the Outdoorsman Project. And that is, I believe Dr. E already uploaded that one to YouTube. So you can check the project out, and it's a nice size album as well. And let me work on the paper. But I'd love for you to take a look at the Mountains Are Calling paper collection, because I think that would be a good combo paper collection for what you're looking at. So let me see what we can whip up, and stay tuned, Terry. All right? Next question. So the next question is from Cuddly Jeeves. Hi, Cuddly Jeeves. Sorry to have another question for you. Oh, don't be sorry. The questions are good. When you have so many ideas in your head and you can't get them out, kind of like having an overwhelming creative brain here, and it causes you to have a creative block. Kathy, how do you do it? Oof. I have so many ideas going around in my head with all of the folios and journals and these pages that you make. I wanna include all into one project, and I get so overwhelmed with it. I just can't get myself to do anything. WWKD. I don't know what that means. Oh, hold on. What would Kathy do? Please help me, please. That's so funny. WWKD. Let me change the camera view. That's pretty funny. What would Kathy do? Well, I'm going to tell you what I do, first of all, to get ideas out of my head. I have showed you this notebook throughout the years, and there are various of these notebooks, okay? Got pictures everywhere. Various of these notebooks, okay? I'm kind of bummed that I haven't been able to find the same notebook because I need a new one. This is probably number 12. I have at least 12 of these notebooks. I dump everything here, okay? I don't do it in my journal because there's not enough space for my scribbling. My journal jam that I use is more for brain dumps, right? Quick things. Which, here's my little notebook here that goes into my journal jam. I was just writing in this. But what I do is I don't do it because, first of all, putting all of these ideas into one project is no good. No good, because the album or the folio will become too congested. It's just going to have too much going on. So what you have to do is take a few ideas and put it into one project. And then you take another few ideas and you put it into one project. You cannot dump every idea into one project because it'll become a mess. The album will be more difficult to look at. You need some, what I like to call white space. Yes, it's covered in pattern paper, but it's not as congested as a super interactive page. So what you have to do is take your ideas into bite size them, right? So that they're easier to digest. And then you work on that project. So one project at a time. Now, when I say one project at a time, I don't mean you have to do start to finish, because I don't even work that way. I work on multiple projects at one time, which I know it may frustrate some people, but that's just how my creative mind works. I get bored with this, I move on to this, and I go back to this, and then on this. Oh, I'm all over the place. So, to answer your question, what do I do when I have a lot of ideas? I write them down, and then I break them up into bite-sized pieces, and I create an amazing project. Never put all your ideas into one project because it'll become a mess. You want to know what it'll become? It'll become the epic album, okay? I have an example of what all the ideas I had at the moment into one project, and it became the epic album, which we're going to remix because we're going to break that down into bite-sized pieces, all right? So the epic album is not part of the original remix lineup, but I am going to remix this project as its own little remix thing because it becomes the epic album. So don't let it happen, Cuddly Jeeves, but write them down, bite-sized pieces. And you take a break. You take a break. When I get overwhelmed, I take a break, and then I come back the next day, 2 days later, with a fresh mind. And this page, I'm just saying this as an example, not what's in front of me right now, that was giving me such a difficult time, looks like a whole new world to me. And that's what you need to do. You need to step away. Bite-sized pieces. So slow down and write them down. All right? Next question. Great question, Cuddly Jeeps. Thank you. All right, so the next question is from Rhea. Hi, ladies. I bought the July Tea Party event. Thank you, Rhea. By the way, there's still time to sign up for the July Crop at Home event. The event is starts July 13th for 3 days, and we're going to have a blast. So on to Rhea's question. How do you find and get added to the private Facebook group for the event? I do not think there is a Facebook group for this event. What you need to be added to is the project folder. And if Renee created a Facebook event for this, I'm going to find out and let you guys know, because I am unaware of a Facebook group for this event. So I don't think that we have one. So, but there is a project folder, and you should have received a download, Rhea, which allows you to download which allows you to access all of the videos and material that will prepare you for the event. So if there is a private Facebook group, I'm going to answer you in this. In your question, I'll reply with a link so that you'll be added. It's highly possible that Renee created a Facebook group and I've been away for a while and I don't know. So, but I'm going to find out for you, darling. But if we don't have one, it's a good idea. It's a good idea. All right. So we just may create one. All right, guys. Next question. Thank you, Rhea, for the question. Jackie Hart. Thank you. I asked a question last week about Cascade Parade binding, and I just watched the video showing what it's like. Wow. Yay, I'm so glad you loved it. How very much fun. It's a great project. So thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And to Dr. E for posting that video last week. You are welcome. Uh, if you have a video that you are looking for and you cannot find, you can always ask us, and Dr. E may be able to squeeze it into the lineup. And I say may be able to because Dr. E has been editing all of the older videos to add a thumbnail to it. This thumbnail thing is, I would say, relatively new to YouTube. Well, at least since I've been on YouTube. So she's been editing all of the older videos to add a thumbnail. So she may be able to squeeze it into this week's to the current week's lineup or the following week's lineup. So if there's something that you're looking for, just like Jackie, let Dr. E know. And how do you find Dr. E? On Facebook in the community page. So check it out. We'll link you down below. And I'll always check the description box down below because all of the links are in there and you'll be able to access things very, very easily that way. All right, so you're welcome, Jackie, and thank you for asking your question. All right, so the next question is from Scrappy Tate. Hey, Kathy. So I had purchased the CVM before, but then stopped the subscription because no new videos were being added. Your website has a one-time purchase option and a subscription option. What is the difference? Also, for some of the older projects like the backpack, like the mini backpack, I have to buy the CVM to get instructions. So do I buy the tutorial and the CVM? Scrappy Tate, this is such a good question because you're not the first one to have this question. Let me first show everybody what the CVM is and what it's all about, because in your question, there is a misconception here. So if you go to my website, you can search. I like to search. It's how I find things easier. So just CVM right here. And here it is. Classroom Video Membership. That's the CVM. So it costs $49 for 1 year. All right. And what this is, when I first started, okay, let me talk about the two options. So part of your question is, what are the difference between the two options? So one-time purchase, you have it for 1 year. Done. You're not subscribed to it. It gets turned off after the year. If you click on subscribe, it's $49 a year. Okay, and this is what Scrappy Tate bought before and she canceled, but you can cancel at any time. There's no difference in price, so you can buy it year to year. You don't have to subscribe. You can buy it when you use it. All right, so let me tell you what it's about. Give me 1 second. Oopsie. So, Scrappy Tate asked about, where are you, Scrappy Tate? So she canceled it because nothing new was being added. So what is the CVM? This back in the day, and I'm talking about probably 15 years ago, back in my Ustream days, I used to do my tutorials, my projects on Ustream and give out the measurements on there, right? On Ustream. This is before I started writing tutorials, and you guys requested to write tutorials. So that's when I started charging because I'm not going to write tutorials for free, right? So, and on Ustream, okay, so then Ustream went away. And all of these projects with all of these measurements had to go somewhere, right? So I purchased a Box.com cloud and everything went on there, and I offered a classroom video membership or a CVM. There are hundreds of videos on there, hundreds. So the $49 that you pay for is for those videos. And every once in a while, Dr. E, not every once in a while, Dr. E adds the EKCs, the EKC videos on there. But the CVM is not something that I add something every day or every month, something new. That's not what that was. What you're paying for is all my older videos that have measurements, that you can make projects from start to finish. You don't have to buy anything new, all right? Unless you buy something that doesn't have measurements. Unless you want something that doesn't have measurements, then you buy that tutorial. And that's not included in the CVM, right? Unless it's an EKC, all right? If it's an EKC, that's different. So there's the one misconception that you stopped subscribing to it because there was nothing new. There's never really going to be anything new unless it's an EKC, and you still have to buy a tutorial for an EKC, all right? So that's the difference there. Now, why do you subscribe to it? Because there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of projects that don't have a tutorial associated with it, all right? So if you are in the CVM and there is a video that you come across that I do not give measurements for, that is an EKC project, which is an Everyday Kit Club project. That's where all those videos get housed in the CVM. And that's what you buy a tutorial for. So for the Backpack Mini Album, you do not have to buy a tutorial. You do not have to buy the tutorial for it if I give you the measurements in the video. Now, I kind of transitioned still on Ustream from giving measurements on video to tutorial writing. So that becomes, when you see a video with no measurements, that becomes tutorial video combo within the CVM. So if you want the measurements, you would just buy the tutorial and the videos are in the CVM. It gets a little kind of muddy because that was during a weird transition project for me. So in the CVM, you're going to find three things. You're going to find older projects, but goodies, where there's no tutorial, no handwritten tutorial, but I give you measurements and I walk you through the process. All right, that's what you're really paying $49 for the year, for everything on there. Then Dr. E started uploading EKC projects there. What are EKC projects? Everyday Kit Club. Those are for those of you who didn't purchase kits but wanted the private videos. They're on the CVM. You have to buy a tutorial for that one because there's no measurements. Then there are transition videos where I was still on Ustream writing tutorials. So I don't give the measurement out in the video. You buy the tutorial to get the measurements. So hopefully that makes sense. So transition videos where I was in between, where I was going to house my videos, and my original projects, which are hundreds on there, and EKC. All right. So when you buy it, you get a year access to everything on there. You could buy one time, download everything to a hard drive if you want to. Some people don't like to download anything. They rather just pay the $49 a year and have access to everything on there for as long as you're paying the membership. So those are your choices there. There are absolutely amazing projects in the CVM. This is what Brenda LaPlante was talking about in the Paper Phenomenon Retreat, the CVM. So there it is in a nutshell. Hopefully that was clear and not clear as mud. So there's really not new things added. It's not an exclusive project place, the CVM. What's the new things that are added are EKC projects, and if I'm not doing an EKC, they're not added. But there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of videos in the CVM. If you get one Paper Phenomenon thing, the CVM, and you'll be covered for a long, long time on making projects. All right, so something for you to think about. Those are your two different options. One time, 1 year purchase. If you hit that subscribe button, it's going to charge you automatically on the year. So don't email me telling me I stole $49 from you, because I've gotten some of those emails. How dare I? It's because you hit the subscribe button. So be careful which option you're picking. So great question. Hopefully I answered it clearly and I didn't confuse the heck out of you all. All right, so next question. So the next question is from Gabrielle. Hola, Kathy and team. I'm a fan of Paper Phenomenon since 2013. I've bought and made a lot of your projects and I've learned so much with your tutorials. I'm planning on making the Hats Off box and album by Janice soon. I was wondering if it's possible to have the video with the final review on your YouTube channel. Of course, no rush for you, Dr. E, for you or Dr. E. I just wanted to know if it was on your agenda. And I have another question. Is there any final review on the signature stories? Let me read more. Down the rabbit hole page folio. I think so. I'm planning on using the Tea Party collection with that project. Well, thanks a lot for your creativity and your sense of humor. You always make me smile. Thank you, Gabrielle. Thank you so much. I feel like if there's not a final review video, then there are some final review pictures, if that makes sense. And I'm going to dig that up. So let's put a pin in that part of the question. And as for hats off, videos to be added, I don't think I read that one off for next week. Harry and David. Perhaps that may be Dr. E's Collaboration Tuesday project, but I'm going to find out. If it's not, it'll definitely be in the lineup for the following week. All right. So stay tuned. Let's put a pin in it and I'll answer it. All right. Next question. Thank you, Gabrielle. So the next question is from Bonnie Gill. Hi, Bonnie. She says, hi, Kathy. I've watched you forever. I know. We also met in person. Let me stop talking. And loved it when you came to New Jersey years ago and I got to meet you in person. Now I'm getting ready to retire and going back to my first loves. Oh, I love that. First, let me say I love all of your paper collections and I have a lot of them in the pads and I am well on my way to having all digitally. My post is more of a request than a question. In a collection that you make in the future, can you include some ladies of color or at least with a little color in their complexion? I normally use the collections and just don't include all of the figures. If this can be done, it's okay. If this can't be done, it's okay. I will still buy your collections because I think they're fabulous. Bonnie Gill, this is a great question, and I love that I get to answer this in one of these. Why do I keep on doing that? In one of these recap videos. So I've received this request before. So I did do that. I started with the In My Kitchen. I don't know if you have that one yet. And I have it printed. I will have to look for it. In My Kitchen. And I did a Caucasian version and a, with the characters with a darker complexion, right? And I was shocked by some of the feedback that I got. You can't make everyone happy. Apparently, they weren't ethnic enough. Oh, did you just color the faces in? I mean, the most ridiculous things. And if that offends anyone, it is what it is. When I say the most ridiculous things. I consider myself a woman of color. I'm Puerto Rican. I am a minority. So I'm sensitive to these things, right? My daughter is also I'm not going to say woman. She's a baby, right? So I'm sensitive to these things. But anyway, I got some feedback that I was offended by. So then I did Ladies Who Lunch. All right. Ladies Who Lunch, I'm really proud of because there is no color. There's a woman there with a blue face, right? There's a woman in there with a yellow face. So I did Ladies Who Lunch and everybody loved Ladies Who Lunch. So let me know if you caught that, right? Let me know if you caught that. Then I did The Mountain is Calling and the faces are white. And what I mean by white is the white of the paper, right? And I did that, I requested that because a lot of you, I saw all of the shading with the Copic markers, and the one who came to me immediately was Pocono Pam. And so I thought maybe you guys, if you did Copic markers, you can color, right, to the skin tone that you can relate to. So look at that one and let me know what you think about that. And I would love to get your feedback on In My Kitchen, because you are a fan of Paper Phenomenon, so you know where my heart is, right? So In My Kitchen, where I did both versions, right? Then Ladies Who Lunch, where there's no color. I love that there's blue, yellow, pink. I love that one. And because that's what I wish the world was like, right? And then there is The Mountains Are Calling, where you can customize it yourself and see what you think. And then I can kind of move in that direction, right? So I have been careful to not include faces in a lot of my collections because, as I said, I'm Puerto Rican, and in the summertime I get pretty tan, and I still use the characters because I use them because I love them. I think they're pretty, they're beautiful, not because they look like me or they don't look like me. So I don't feel the need to have to relate to the character because I don't see it as myself. I see it as art in the paper, if that makes sense. But let me know what you think about those collections. I would be curious to see your response. Look for in the In My Kitchen collection, there is no choice of. All right, you get both the Caucasian and the other version, right? I can't remember what I called it. I'm trying to think of the name so you can see it in there. Anyway, you'll see there is no choice of. You get them both, and I'd love to hear your feedback on it. So that was such a good question. I'm glad I was able to answer it here in this recap video. Thank you so much, Bonnie. And I'm so glad that you're getting back to being able to do what you love, because I when you came back to the classes, I said I've noticed, I don't say things, but I notice when people come and go. I notice. And I try to give people a shout out, but I just don't ever like to exclude anyone. But sometimes I remember names, like right now I'm remembering Slow-Mo. Slow-Mo, I haven't seen you in a long time. I hope you are well. Because there's been people that have been with me forever, ever. And I thank you all for that. Next question. All right, so the next question is from Sarah Louise. I love that name. It's so fascinating to watch as the older videos come up on your new channel, and I may not have seen them on your old one. How your style has changed, how you're inventing new things like cutting into pattern paper, following an outline to create a tuck spot. I call that my signature cut. Just had to buy Retrospection 365 that had old videos so I can put some of these fabulous flips and flaps into a wedding album. Sarah, thank you so much for that comment. And yes, I have been crafting for many, many years, and I love that I have served as inspiration to new crafters, and that these old techniques are still relatable and relevant today, where they look updated, fresh, and new every time you do it. I always say that pattern paper makes the project, because sometimes there's a design in a pattern paper where you can create this new fabulous pocket, and you're just cutting into the design, which stems from an original idea that came from, and please, I'm just saying, came from Paper Phenomenon. I didn't invent the wheel. I'm just saying, making that statement. And just thank you. Thank you for noticing. I try really, really hard with every project to bring something new and fresh and fun, and keep it light, and for this to be a place that becomes a fun place to craft. So just thank you. Thank you. The next question is from Bernice. Let me make sure I change the camera view and I'm not looking at myself. I did. Okay. It's from Bernice. It says, hello, Kathy. I was wondering if you treated your craft text to make it more flexible before using it. I made a cover for my destinations travel journal. Oh my God, such a good project, Bernice. And found it quite difficult to handle. And so, thank you for everything you do for us. Your creating style is just everything I love in this wonderful hobby. Thank you, Bernice. You and your team are the best. Thank you. Thank you again. You guys are going to make me cry. I'm super sensitive right now. All right. So to answer your question, Bernice, let me try to change this camera view again. No, I do not treat my craft text. It is pretty difficult to, and I say difficult and I use that term loosely. It's a little unruly, especially because it comes rolled up. So the rolling, it will constantly try to roll on you. It is thicker than cardstock. So if you're used to working with cardstock and sewing on paper, it is a little bit more difficult. You have to get used to it. But to answer your question, no, I do not treat it. There's two versions or two varieties of craft text. There is the unwashed version, which I use, and then there is a washed version. I've never handled the washed version, but I'm told that it is more pliable. Jane has used the washed version, so perhaps she can chime in this question below and say if it's more pliable or less pliable than the unwashed version, which is what I use. And perhaps if it is softer or more pliable, you'll be able to pick up the washed version, and maybe that'll make things easier for you. But I love that you love the projects, and thank you so much for following, Bernice, and thank you for the question. Next question is from Cuddly Jeeps. Hi, Kathy, Dr. E, and Renee. Oh, and Jane. I love reading your, I love how you guys know the team. I love it. I have emailed you about some off-road collaborations. I have not heard back from you. I do have some stuff I've created on my own for adventuring and off-roading. Always, I have a completely different question for you this week. Anyways, I'm having trouble reading, so forgive me, guys. Anyways, I have a completely different question for you this week. And I did get your email, by the way. Jane did send it to me, and I thought that I responded to it. But if I didn't, forgive me, and I will get with Jane on that. I would love to see what you have. I have assigned this off-road thing to one of the designers, and it's going to be... I'll answer in a minute. Let me get to this. Let me finish reading. Hold on. So it says, hold on to your britches. It's not Jeep related. Thank goodness, because I think I disappointed you with my Jeep. It's not dirty. Some of your old stuff that you are remixing and doing a different system with. Two of my favorite oldies but goodies that you have done, and I follow to a T. And still have some trouble with. I still use mine to this day and still in love with them as much as when I first created them. The Voyager and the Memory Box. Oh, such good projects. Do you think you will be remixing these whole creations? I don't think so, because those projects are pretty perfect and they're not on my remix list. I would love to see how you would update that and what you would add to them. I think this is one of my very first few purchases I made from you when I first found you. Some of the older stuff I still find fascinating. Keep creating, flipping, stacking and sticking. I love it. With all of my Jeep love to you and the team. Thank you, Cuddly Jeeps. So the first part is, let me change the camera view. The first part is, I did get your email. Jane did forward it to me, so the slacker is not Jane, but I thought that I responded to it, but it could have been during this crazy time. So forgive me if I did not. You could have posted this, you could have asked this question, and I could have been sending the response. So all sorts of variables there. But I did get it, and Jane did send it to me. So I would love to see what you have, because we're working on a new travel collection. And part of that travel collection, it'll be all included. I don't want to separate things. There's going to be a few sheets for off-road stuff. All right. So I thought that would be a fun way to include everyone in this collection, and they may be able to relate to it. So I'd love to see what you have. Then for the Voyager, I have something in my eye. Give me a second. For the Voyager collection, for the Voyager project and the box, those are two different projects. Memory Box and the Voyager, amazing projects. It's not on my remix list, but those projects are so perfect. I don't know that I would remix them, but I'll take a look at it. I'm not going to tell you it's going to be anytime soon, because I still have quite a few projects to work through on remix, but I will put it on the list. I'm trying to think if there's anything different that I do now that I didn't do in those boxes. I would have to look at it, because that was a long time ago. But still, nonetheless, great projects. And I love that you love the older projects. I love them too. And seeing them now replay on this refresh of projects on my new YouTube channel is so inspiring. So inspiring. So thank you for the question. Next question is from Marta. Hola, Gati. Here again, and you are most welcome, darling. Totally loving the recap for I continue to grow in knowledge as to making your awesome projects. I made an oops in my last comment, the May 20th through the 25th May recap, where I asked about substituting the acetate envelope to one of your National Scrapbook Day folios. I asked about folio 5 when in reality it was for number 7. Sorry for the oops. No worries. Question. Hope not to mess it up. Can the embellishments, elements, ephemera, sentiments, tags, and pockets for the Flutter and Bloom, Happiness Personified, and Kitchen 6 collection be printed on regular 8.5 by 11 paper without there being any distortion to sizing, elements, or do you recommend them being printed 12 by 12? All right, so I see you have multiple questions here, so I'm going to answer one at a time so I don't forget. Yes, you can, but to my knowledge, you need a program to resize to 8.5 by 11. All right. And I use Photoshop for that. I have a video on how to do that. But what you can do without any software is print 8 by 8. And I give you examples of that quite often, because Jane usually prints my embellishments in 12 by 12 and in 8 by 8. So print 8 by 8 or 6 by 6 without any software. All you have to do when you hit the print, look at my Bella in the background. Hi, Belly Bells. That's my granddaughter. Hi, Bella. Oh, and there's Faith. She's dancing in the back. No, Mama, I'm working. Close it, baby. Okay. Oh my God, silly girl. They make me so happy. What was I saying? Oh, without any software, you can print 8 by 8. So try that. All right. So all you have to do is hit print, and then where you pick your paper where it says letter size, keep on scrolling and look for 8 by 8. All right. And that way you don't have to resize anything. It's the printer software does it for you. All right. Next part of the question. Let's go to that. All right. So where am I? 8.5 by 11. Paper without being any distorting. Got so many. Where do you get your paper to print your collections? I will put a link in the description box for you. I get it on Amazon. I'm using this new paper now. But I usually recommend the brand of paper that your printer is. to try with first, because that's usually the best paper to start your printing off with. And then you can try these two other papers that I use. I can't remember the name that I use on Amazon, but also Red River, and we will put those links in the description box for you. Last question for now. I bought the binding system catalog. I'd like to know if you have videos on how to put each hinge system together, with the exception of hollow hidden hinge, which video is provided. Thank you for sharing your blessed talent. Thank you so much for following Paper Phenomenon. So let me answer your question, darling. Yes, there are videos, but the binding catalog is just a catalog. So in the catalog, I believe we reference what project the binding system is in. So you would have to buy that video tutorial combo. The reason why the hollow hidden hinge is in the binding catalog with video is because it was a brand new binding system that I developed, and a lot of you requested it to be in the binding catalog, so I went ahead and included it. And there was a resizing. It was a whole thing I did with a brand new binding system. So I included in there just because I knew it was going to be a popular one, and I wanted you guys to have the how-to in that in one place. So that's why it's in there. But with all of the other ones, there is a tutorial associated with the binding system, and that's where the videos would be. All right, because the binding system catalog is just that, a catalog of binding systems that you can reference to pick which one you like, and instructions on how to do it. But they are specific to a project. So for those who are more not so much of a novice in these projects, they're able to adapt these binding systems to any project that they want. But if you are a newbie, you may want to get the associated tutorial with that binding system. All right, so thank you for the questions, Marta. They are always on point, and I'm sure you're not the only one having these questions, so they help out immensely. So thank you for asking them. All right, next question. Paper Craftery. Hello there. She says, hi, Kathy. Hello from Indonesia. I have been a loyal fan since a decade ago and still continue to make albums using your tutorials. I do have a couple of tutorials that I'm hesitant to try out because it uses Craftex and Tyvek, as both are not readily available here, plus shipping to Indonesia would be so high. Is there an alternative to both of these? Can I substitute with cardstock? Yes, you can substitute with cardstock or lightweight chipboard. However, there are, I think, better substitutions like fabrics. All right, a good substitution for Craftex would be like a faux leather denim that comes in so many colors. You can buy that stiff denim, would be a great substitution for Craftex. All sorts of textiles. All right, so wrapping paper. There's some not wrapping paper. I'm not gonna yell at her and tell her to get out from behind the thing, so you'll have to deal with her. She's loving life right now. Silly girl, you're distracting mama.
Just let me in.
No, I'm almost done. Please. You know mommy needs to get this done.
Before you're done, let me say hi.
Okay, I sure will. All right, but you have to get out from there because you're distracting me. I thought I could leave you, but I can't. I'll call you, sweet girl. I can't. She's a distraction when I'm in this view. Sorry, Paper Craftery. So textiles, such as also wallpaper. I know some of these things like wallpaper may not be acid free, but the fabrication of it, the way they're woven, would be great. If you could get your hands on packaging material, that heavy kind of craft packaging material would work great as well. All right, so think about fabrics, packaging material, and cardstock and or lightweight chipboard. Those are all great substitutions for craft text. Now they're not gonna, the packaging material, they're not gonna be kind of tear proof like the craft text. Cardstock, lightweight chipboard, not tear proof, but fabric, absolutely 100%. All right, and that eliminates the need to cover, to mat the cover. So you can pick something that coordinates with your pattern paper and you have a super fun, unique cover. All right, so think about those things, and I hope that that helps. If I think of anything else, I will be sure to let you know. Next question. So the next question is from Monica. Hi, Monica. I want to say I love your projects and kits. I'm a kit hoarder. I got the Zoom kit project, which you should have already, I'm hoping. Guys, the Zoom kit project is the Crop at Home event. It's a global event because you are in your own craft space, and we're gonna, for 3 days, we're gonna be working on a project together, and it's gonna be super fun. It's July 13th, so if you care to join, it'll be in the description box below. All right. So I can't wait to sit and relax to make one of your projects, which brings me to my question. When I first found you a long time ago, I started buying kits. Needless to say, I have a lot of them with no names. Do you think maybe for future you can put the name on the project so that people like me can remember which kit it is when I get around to making them? LOL. Monica, if you took them out of the box, I did put the name on it, but not inside the kit. It was on the box. On the box, there's a label. There's the name of the kit is there. So if you still have the box, look there. If you don't, we can help you. You can take a picture of it, post it to the community page, and I'm sure somebody can help you. Just name that kit, and we'll be able to help you. You will have to take a picture of them, but one by one, when you get around to it, no rush, right? But if they're in the box still, look on the box. The name should be on the box. But what I have been doing with this new system I have now, as for a while, it spits out a packing list. So we've been putting the packing list in the kits, and no more on the label. So now, yes, the label, there's a packing list in the kit and not just on the box. I don't know, for some reason I thought that you guys would get your kits and make them, but you don't. So all learning, my friends. But yes, we are absolutely doing that. We can do it, and we are doing it. So no worries, darling. Thank you for the question. Next question is from Sarah. Hi, Kathy. Totally love your work, especially the monthly journals and paper lines. I'll have to do that again. I have bought your End of an Era and Dapper King 2. Will you please do an album using these papers? I would be eternally grateful. Waving from across the waters in England. Oh, Sarah, thank you. I thought that I did, and I actually read your question ahead of time, but I couldn't find it. I thought it was this one.
Where I combined, this is Dapper King. And I thought that I combined, oh, by the way, this is, there's my little twist closure, my flap closure. I think I combined Dapper King 1 and 2. This is Project 365 Hybrid Folios. This is where I combine paper and hybrid folio. So there's 12 hybrid folios and 12 paper collections. So Project 365. All right. And this is the one where I use Dapper King. And I think that I combine them both in here. I want to say yes. So this is an example, but that's not to say that I won't use it again, because I think I only used it this one time and I haven't used it again. And it's such a great collection. So these are fantastic folios, guys. Look at these pockets. Oh my gosh. They are deconstructed pockets, which I love because you don't have to dig in them. All right, so I thought that I combined them both in here, but may have not. But here's Dapper King 1, but I'm going to look at the papers and see if I find something. And, oh, you know what? I did a slider folio. And I normally have my slider folios near me, but I don't have that one, of course, because I love my slider folios, where I use the perhaps a Dapper King 2. I'm going to see if Dr. E can put it on a lineup so you can see final reviews on those, because I believe in the slider folio I used Dapper King 2, which I do not find right now. But great question, darling. I will check with Dr. E. And if I didn't, yes, I will make a project. All right, next question.
The last question is from Brenda LaPlante, and it's funny that I mentioned Brenda in this video earlier, and she has a question here. Last recap video, you were showing us the Epic album, also in another album, but can't remember right now, and you had an adorable film strip that you had to use. Where did that come from? Punch, die cut, SVG file. You know I love everything you do without saying it, but I love everything you do. I love you, Brenda, and I love that I was able to meet you on several occasions, and just thank you. So let's get to the question. I have to go get the album. Hang on. All right, so here's the album. This is the Epic album, and I know exactly what you're talking about, and it's an SVG file in the Epic album. And as you can see, my desk is exactly where we left off, guys. Exactly where we left off. I have not been in this craft room yet. All right, Epic album. So I believe you're talking about this right here. And this is one of my SVG files, one of my little designs here. It's one of these flippy things. You twirl it around and you get that little flip action, and it's just loose. Alright, so this is a paper phenomenon design, and it is in an SVG file that you will find in the Epic album. And I believe I used it somewhere else, but I can't remember, just like you. But it's in the Epic album. And Cuddly Jeeps, this is the album I'm talking about. When you have a bazillion and one ideas and you put it into one project, not good. I have to redo it because it's just, my binding system is a mess. Alright, it's a fantastic album, but it's just not a functional album. So, an example of what I'm talking about, a bazillion ideas, Cuddly Jeeps. So Brenda, if you don't have the Epic album, and if somebody, Dr. E or somebody remembers if I use this somewhere else, they could chime in the comments below. That would be most helpful. Alright, but it is quite the little fun little add-on here to this, again, 5,000 idea album, which is why it's called the Epic album. Alright, guys. So that's it for the weekly recap. This is like 2.5 weeks probably, and 2.5 weeks, questions from 2.5 weeks ago, and I'm getting to them now. So these were all great questions. Thank you so much. Dr. E will be posting a brand new weekly recap so we can pick up right with current weekly recap videos, and feel free to ask questions from the videos that Dr. E is posting, because that will, believe me, if you're thinking about the questions, somebody else is also thinking about it, and it will help out immensely. I don't mind answering questions. It's what I'm here for. And thank you so much for following me here on Paper Phenomenon, and for all the love that you guys give me. And just thank you. And I'm going to end it now because, yeah, love you all. I'll see you all in the next recap video, and I'll see you all during the week. Bye-bye.